All Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another market close. Dude, every time I'm like a minute late, the comments are overslept, he's gone, he's sleeping. It's 3:47 p.m. Why would I be sleeping? Like we're not sleeping. But something else that's not sleeping is Faraday Future. Luke says it right here in the chat. Talk about staying awake all day. This thing, when I left, it was $1.03. I think we'll start the show there. Thank you, everybody, for being here. $1.68. I don't know what to say, dude. I don't know what to say. It's up 137% today. At one point, it didn't just get halted. It got suspended. Like Weeble said it was suspended. And I had to look up, what does it mean for something to be suspended? Like what's going on here? And apparently when it's suspended, it's like been halted so many times it needs even longer to like relax before they open it up. So and suspensions can last even longer than just like 10-15 minutes like halts do. So here you go, Faraday Future. It's up 134%. Does this make any sense? No, but this is the state of the markets that we are in. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me here today. We got a lot to talk about. We have to talk about Buffett. We have to talk about Palantir. And I got a good clip from Stanley Druckenmiller talking about Alex Karp, Palantir, Steve Jobs. We got to talk about the Dow Jones, which hit officially 40,000. That's been very exciting. We want to talk about Apple at 190. Lots to discuss. We are here. Let me pull up this chart right here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Faraday Future stock in the past 5 days is up 4,000%. It's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy because this is not the way investing, traditionally works. But if you took advantage of it, then hell, you took advantage of it. It's kind of like meme stocks. Not meme stocks, meme coins. What I'm seeing going on in the meme stock world right now is like an embodiment of what's been happening with meme coins for the past couple of months now. And a lot of people have made a lot of money off meme coins. I guess the stock market is turning into a little bit of a meme as well. Over the past month, this thing is up 2,700%. 6 months, it's only up 4%. So it was right here for 6 months ago. So if you bought 6 months ago and did an average down, you're break even. But goodness, I mean, what an opportunity, right? This thing was at 9 cents, 6 cents. Now it's at $1.65. Why is this happening? For those that are wondering, a lot of people have started talking about it on social media. The volume is 1.5 billion. I think Meet Kevin bought some calls in it. I mean, people have hyped it up. I have not purchased any of this stock, but the people that have got into it, now the momentum has been built that everyone feels like, okay, for $1.60, I mean, why not, right? There is no fundamental narrative around the EV company, at least with GameStop. The people that are in GameStop, they do feel some type of affinity towards the brand. Same thing with AMC. For Faraday Future, I think there is literally zero of affiliation with the brand. I mean, imagine your executives at Faraday Future right now, and your stock is just being used and abused for other people's gains. They don't give a crap about your cars. They don't care about your company. They don't care about your leadership, your mission, your culture. They literally just care about using your ticker symbol as a way to make money. And they're like abusing it at the tune of 1 billion times a day being traded. It's just kind of insane. It's absolutely insane. 90% short. That is also something that is true about this one. I mean, it is collapsed. It's not a real EV company that has been able to, maintain momentum, but that's what we got on Faraday Future, up 130%. If you guys are in this one, congrats. If you made some money, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to take some profits. But Faraday Future is continuing to go higher today as well. On top of that, I want to talk about Buffett stock, and I want to play a clip around Buffett's new mystery stock. But before then, let's look at some equities real quick. Bitcoin been struggling today, not really been catching momentum. Bitcoin right here, 65,298. It was at 66,000 at one point, not really able to build upon that 66,000 level. So we'll see how the ETF inflows come out probably in about 4 or 5 hours and go from there. Apple 190, absolutely incredible. Apple getting back to that 190 range. Palantir relatively flat on the day as well, 2177. Robinhood taking a beating. It was at 1920 at one point today. Now here at 1804. Reason it's down 3% is because I believe GameStop and AMC being down means the market tends to feel that Robinhood's going to go down as well. Now, I think that is incorrect, but in the short term, that's some of the price action we're going to see. GameStop down 26% and AMC is down 20-something, 13%. So AMC is officially under $4 or $5. Dave Portnoy's average is 520, and on GameStop his average is at 30. So now he's officially underneath on GameStop. He was actually up for the majority of the day, but he is down now at 28.95. It does not look like these two are catching a bid. Roaring Kitty's tweets are not really catching the momentum in terms of galvanizing the masses. So it's now at the point where I think people are heading for the exits, and they're using their exit liquidity, and they're taking some of that money and they're dropping it into something like Faraday Future. So there's just not enough momentum here that's getting people really excited around the meme stocks. Let's look at some of the other meme stocks as well, and then we'll get into Buffett stock. Yeah, look at the right-hand side of my screen, or left-hand side. Everything's red. Pretty much everything. The only things that are up are Faraday and Mullen, and SunPower, that's up about 5%. Plug Power, that's up about 1%. But everything else, Reddit, BlackBerry, Hollow, Spirit Airlines, Beyond Meat, all these guys, DJT, are in the gutter. So they haven't really been able to get the momentum they need. Now, the Magnificent Seven have had a relatively good day. Tesla 175, Nvidia flat at 945, Amazon 184, Google 174, up about 1% on the day. Meta's flat, Microsoft's down just a little bit, Apple at 190. And the reason we're seeing the momentum there is because the Dow Jones is hit 40,000, which has been a big day for the Dow Jones. S&P 500 are we still at 530? We're at 529.76. So S&P is basically flat. The fact that we've maintained 529 and we're holding these levels now, I think Nvidia is going to determine the trajectory of the S&P for the next few months. But the fact that we're here, we get good inflation data, Nvidia crushes it. Looks like things might not be as bad for the rest of 2024. Alibaba, as I see you guys are saying in the chat, also had a great day. Now, these guys fell 7% on the day. I don't think Alibaba's had a 7% day in a very long time. Alibaba right here, 86.80 on the day. It fell 5% yesterday, so it seems like they had a good earnings. They just needed to wait a little bit until the street dissected it, and that's what came in. If you wanted to buy puts on Faraday Future, actually, let me look at the premium. I would imagine it's a bit expensive, given I'm sure a lot of people are, but if I wanted to buy... Oh, you can't even, there's no options on this thing. Oh, no, there are. Sorry, there are. So let's say you were to buy November 15th puts. Like well, it's not the craziest. You could buy a 50-cent put for 38 cents. I don't know. Actually, no, that's a little expensive. I mean, if there's only 380 of those open. What about May 7th? May 7th puts, or May 17th? Yeah, the puts on, so if you think Faraday Future is going to go to 50 cents tomorrow, you can get puts for 3 cents. Those puts are down 72 cents for the day. There's 34,000. Holy crap, look at this. 34,000 open. 132,000 have been traded in volume. So there's a lot of people betting this sucker is going to collapse 50%, more than 50% by tomorrow. It's basically a gamble at 3 cents. Potentially, if it collapses tomorrow, then that could go up. But it doesn't look like it's ready to collapse, dude. It looks like people want to buy more of it. It's just you never know the timing of it, so it's hard to figure out what the entry looks like. Let's get an update on Buffett stock, and then we'll keep going from there. Berkshire Hathaway revealing their mystery stock, CB Chubbs Limited. Here's some analysis on that, and then we'll keep going from there.
Berkshire's big mystery bet finally revealed. Contessa Brewer here at Post 9 with the details. And if you know what beat Contessa covers, you may have an idea of what sector this comes from. Were you surprised to learn it was
No, because I have been flagging this for more than a year about Chubb in particular, which has managed to draw down its exposure in high-risk areas. But here's a company that offers a diversified mix of products. It has financial lines and commercial property and casualty, personal P&C, a significant life insurance business. In fact, in life insurance, premiums written and deposits collected were up almost 40% in the first quarter. And then more than 3/4 of Chubb's business is in the U.S. and Asia, which the company says, Scott, it expects to grow about 40% faster than the rest of the global insurance market over the next decade. In his first quarter earnings call last month, CEO Evan Greenberg said he is seeing the best rates and the best pricing overall that insurance has seen in the last 4 to 5 quarters, and Chubb especially. And then 2023 was the best year in the company's history. Net income up 72% over the previous year. Why does it matter? Berkshire Hathaway started buying this stake in the third quarter, increasing through the fourth and the first quarters. And when you look at, say, the start of the fourth quarter to the end of the first, shares rose 25%. So Berkshire got in on that. You have all cylinders firing. Disciplined underwriting, which has meant lower catastrophe losses than other insurers. Higher interest rates are fueling investment income. And then this growing life insurance revenue. Mayor Shields of KBW has the street high target price of $294. And he said, look, when you look at the concerns over inflation, and especially social inflation, which is litigation, essentially, it has driven pricing to a place that it's exceeding the loss costs.
Well, first I want Josh's response, because you speak always so eloquently about Berkshire and the way they think about stocks, timing and such. What do you make of this? Because I think we spent some time on the show speculating what it is. I think you mentioned you thought maybe for a minute it was Amazon, right? But now it's right in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, no, I mean,
of insurance.
This is their core competency. Can I ask you a crazy question?
Sure.
You gonna be okay with this?
Please.
Is Evan Greenberg Hank Greenberg's son?
Yeah.
And wasn't there some innuendo back in the day that Warren Buffett may have been partially responsible for the troubles that AIG had from a regulatory perspective? But like maybe that was all fake and made up on the internet. But
that's a very in the weeds question going back like way longer than I have.
I guess what I'm asking is,
you can punt on that one.
Are they friendly though?
I give you
Think,
permission.
like they must have a good working relationship. He's making an investment.
Can I turn this around and ask you a question? Why do you think that Berkshire Hathaway which has a massive insurance business of its own, put all of these eggs into the insurance basket? Like it's a lot of exposure to insurance.
Yeah, I mean, I would only be able to speculate, but my guess would be the valuation made sense, and the business is in for a cycle that they want to have an expanded exposure to.
I'll throw the question back at you because in some respects, the returns of this space are somewhat self-explanatory, right? Haven't these stocks done well?
They're doing very well, and you've seen Chubb hit all-time highs recently, not in the last week or so, but here's JMP saying, we can't think of a company that has a better mix of business lines, geographies, and talent to take advantage of than Chubb, currently trading at 1.7 times book value, where the peers are 2.0.
There you go, right? I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're showing a 1 year of Chubb. I gather that a lot of charts in this space would look similar to that.
I think the Chubbs thing makes sense. I was reading a couple of articles on it today. It seems like the perfect Buffett stock. I mean, very hard to imagine Buffett being against a company like this, especially at the valuation that he's been able to get it at and the permission that he's been given from the SEC to not have to disclose it. So, I mean, I think Buffett likes it. I think it's worked out very well for him. 25 million shares. Now I think about 2% of the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio. And they took some nice profits on Apple. And they loaded up on a business that the company, the holding company, Berkshire in general, is much more familiar with, especially older executives, which is insurance. They know how to invest in insurance, just like you could argue, Brad Gerstner knows how to invest in tech. So from that perspective, it seems like it was a decent deal for them, up 4.72% on the day. I'm going to be curious how many people follow this one now every single day, given that Berkshire is officially into it. All right, 4 p.m. Thursday, March 16th, the stock market is now closed. All right. After the bell, which is right now, we have AMAT, Applied Materials. That's what we're going to see. Wow, it's already down 1.95%. All right, so that's the one we're looking at when it comes to earnings, and we'll see when those numbers come out. That is going to have, as June said in the chat, some implications for, oh, wow, we got some breaking news. So that's going to have implications for the semiconductor space. We have some breaking news, folks. Here we go. On the market close, some breaking news. The Citron Research, you guys remember these guys? They are short GameStop. Wow. Shitron. Did I just say Shitron? I didn't mean to say that. Citron Research is short GameStop. This just got interesting. Citron Research, they are, or let's go to their tweet right here. Yeah, they've been they're historically good. Don't get me if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, but they're a short firm. They're a firm that shorts stocks, if I'm not wrong. GME. So here's what they posted. After 30 years in the markets and countless interviews, it's surreal to be questioned by the media to interpret memes from Roaring Kitty. This enigma is drawing more focus than even Buffett's new confidential stock. In 2024, it appears we're all just cogs in a wildly unpredictable system. Wow. They are short GameStop. There you go. That is interesting, dude. Now, what this does is it creates a target on their back. And I actually think this is honestly, let's go to GameStop right now. This is what the apes needed. They needed an enemy. Like, you need a villain. You always need a villain in order to be able to make the story that much better. They are officially short GameStop. Interesting. It seems like they're shorting from this price right now. And if that's the case, then this is going to be the enemy, I guess, the apes try to go after. Yeah, Citron Research, once again, says it is short GameStop. Now, they shorted GameStop a while ago. I actually am not sure if they made a ton of money off that. It would be funny if they're actually long. You know what? I honestly think a lot of institutions are long GameStop right now. And I think even if it's a small part of their portfolio, Applied Materials up a little bit after hours, I do think some of them just got into the meme craze and they're actually having fun with this versus it just being retail. We'll probably know in the coming months if that was the case. But yeah, this is so interesting. This is kind of like, a Steve Cohen's fund or Ken Griffin saying they're short GameStop. Like, you need that enemy that everyone can say, all right, he's the guy. We're going to go after him. We're going to squeeze his fund, etc. Very interesting. Okay, AMAT earnings are, here we go. We got Q2 EPS, $2.06. Revenue, $6.6 billion versus 6.5. So they beat on revenue. Adjusted net income, $1.74 billion versus 1.6. Guidance for Q3, $6.65 billion, slightly higher. Outlook for Q3, $1.83 a share, which is a little bit lower than Q2. The stock is up. Not a crazy reaction, 1.63%. Market cap $175 billion on AMAT, Applied Materials. But yeah, not a huge reaction from the street. Street kind of doesn't care about this. Okay, there we go. Those are the earnings for Applied Materials. Not a crazy swing to the upside or downside. Probably how their earnings should be. I mean, it doesn't need to be that insane on a company like this. But yeah, they beat on their numbers, which is a good thing. Let's go to NVIDIA real quick. Any impact on that, given it's a semiconductor space? NVIDIA's up a little bit. SMCI, I didn't check that today. SMCI 906. SMCI up a little bit. Let's just go to the semis right here, see if there's any change. Wow, Citron is really shorting GameStop. Yeah, semis are unchanged. Nothing too crazy. Intel, by the way, back above 30. Intel was almost below 30 the other day. So Intel right here at 32. So let me look up. I want to see Citron Research GameStop and what happened last time. Okay, so this is, this is the guy. This is the guy. And I remember this guy. I think he was in the movie. Okay, so here's.
Hi, this is Andrew.
You guys can hear it, right? Yeah, okay.
Who left at Citron Research. Around 6 days ago, I did a video explaining 5 reasons why I thought GameStop would go from 40 all the way back to 20. And I had no idea what that would set off. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I cannot answer one more phone call. How are you? Are you okay? Are you in business? What about GameStop? Should I short it?
This was in 2021, guys.
Here, people I've not spoken to in 20, 30 years. This has captured the attention of the America and every trader and non-trader alike. And also I figure by doing another video, I'll give you wonderful meme creators something to go ahead and meme about me. So first, let's answer this question. I'm just fine. Citron Capital is just fine. Covered the majority of the short in the 90s, at a loss 100%, have a small imaginable position, and I'll let it go.
Wow. So he covered his short at the 90s, which is really good because GameStop went to 483. He lost 100% of his capital, and now he's back to shorting. Dougie Fresh, I'm not falling for this. I'm not falling for this nonsense. GameStop at 54, not falling for it. No way. You guys said that yesterday at 75, not falling for it. All right, Take Two. We'll get back to that video in a second. Take Two at earnings. They are down 2%. Nothing too crazy on Take Two. Let me pull up their numbers right now. This is a video game company, if I'm not wrong. We'll go back to that video in a bit. Take Two. So they're down 5% right now. Their numbers, I'm looking at net bookings decreased 3% to 1.35 billion in the quarter. GAAP net loss, oh my God, 2.9 billion. Dude, they lost 600 million last year. They lost 3 billion this year, $17 a share. How is this you would imagine this is down even more than that. What? They lost $3 billion, dude? Goodness gracious. This is insane, bro. Okay, so Take Two. What else do we have in the earnings? Is anyone in Take Two? It's a gaming stop. I'm not a gaming stock. I'm not in this one, but I know other people are in. Yeah, net income, they lost $3 billion, revenue $1.4 billion, EPS negative $17 a share. Dude, who owns this thing? Take-Two. What is this thing? Take-Two. How are you negative $17 a share? What is this? What's going on here? Take-Two. They're the ones behind NBA 2K and like Grand Theft Auto and all this stuff. Interesting. All right. I think Kathy actually sold out of this one a while ago as well. GTA makers. Okay. Yeah. Well, we need like GTA 7 to come out to get this to go higher. Their market cap 24. Dude, they lost $3 billion in the quarter. Their market cap's $24 billion. They lost more than 10% in this quarter than what they're worth. And I mean, that's incredible, bro. I've really never studied the financials of a company like this, but yeah, that's not the best quarter. Only down 4%. You would imagine they're down more, but not down as badly as they are. Jeff says, of course, Amit doesn't play games. Yeah, I don't watch movies and I don't play video games. What do you guys do? When I was little, I would watch debates about capitalism and socialism on YouTube. Okay. I watched like 17,000 documentaries on 9/11. Like, this is what I used to watch when I was little. I didn't watch movies and I didn't play video games. I had a small video game phase. I did get a PSP and I had Grand Theft Auto Vice City for like a year, but then I got out of it. But yeah, I'm not super into video games. Okay, Faraday Future is still up after hours, up 5%. So this one's at now $1.73. This one's not stopping. GameStop is up a little bit after hours. AMC still down after hours. And the S&P 500 is flat after hours. Interesting. All right, let's go back to that Andrew video real quick. I just want to see what else he was talking about in 2021. For those that are just joining, Citron Research is once again short GameStop. Here's him back in 2021 talking about GameStop loss.
For those who don't have for those with a short memory, you might remember Tilray a few years ago. I learned from Tilray. It was in the last piece of advice, and I was questioning whether to say this or not, but I have to, because me being an individual investor, a successful one for over 25 years, have to give this piece of advice to the Reddit people who are watching. When you make your profits, make sure you put some away for the IRS. That money's not all your money.
Dude, that must have sucked. This guy lost 100% of his money shorting GameStop, and he's telling the apes how they should manage their money off their profits. I mean, that's got to be the most embarrassing. That's embarrassing, bro. It's got to be embarrassing telling people to save their money for the IRS like they don't have the common sense to pay their taxes, because you think you're so much more sophisticated and you lost on your short. Thank goodness he covered at $90 because GameStop went to $480 back in 2021. All right, so he's back. He's back to shorting. We'll get some more coverage on that. Here's a clip I want to share from, I said in the title, someone's back into Palantir. For those that missed it, Stanley Druckenmiller is once again back in Palantir. He disclosed the position yesterday, 770,000 shares at an average of 21.30. Let's actually do the math on that. How much money is that? 770,000 times 21.3. That's about 16.4 million. He was one of the first investors sold at $8, put that money into NVIDIA. NVIDIA has gone up about 3-4x, sold 71% of his NVIDIA position, and now he's back into Palantir. Here's him talking with Karp 2 years ago on why he feels Palantir is similar to Steve Jobs' philosophy around breaking rules in business.
So there was a guy named Steve Jobs, and he broke the number one rule of business is he made products, not that the customer was demanding. He made this product and assumed if I make it, they will come. I kind of get that sense that you guys do that here at Palantir too. And I know that what a game changer Foundry was for you. Is there something else out there in the pipeline I don't know about that you could, I'm sure there is, but that you could disclose? So I can think out a few years ahead of time.
There's the war products, which are like literally take small countries and make them into juggernauts. Like give everybody a slingshot. Every small country gets the power slingshot Palantir and can slay the monster coming to attack them. And there's like a number of them, and they're operationally useful and very.
I think we're watching one of them. It's not so small. But...
Yeah. Well. Yeah, and it's having an enormous impact. And then there's the further uses of Foundry, which are really just at the beginning, actually using Foundry operationally. And there's Apollo. So like we're in a world where the outside organizations are disjoined and disjuncted and need vertical and horizontal integration to to interact with their clients and with regulators and with supply chains. They have the same exact problem with software on the inside, which is how we actually have grown from a tiny company with, not growing headcount, but because we maintain our software with a product. Every single company, every single government in the world will essentially have to build something like this or buy it from us. And it's a very, very hard product to build. And that product is, like many of our products, kind of looks very not sexy in the beginning, but then powers a lot of the action.
So this was from 2022. And the context of this video was Karp basically, Stanley Druckenmiller is like, hey, Steve Jobs said, if I make the best product, people will come. And Palantir has had that philosophy for a very long time. S&P 500 right now, 528. Palantir said, if we make the best product, we're going to be able to sell. Now, they were correct, but to an extent. Enterprise SaaS is not like consumer products. You actually do have to go distribute the product. You do have to go meet with people to sell it. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. So what's ironic to me is that they had the Steve Jobs philosophy of build the best thing, focus on the value, the rest will be taken care of. And they adapted it when they unveiled AIP 8 months after this video was recorded. They bet the company on AIP. And then they came up with this bootcamp strategy. And that bootcamp strategy was basically still doing the Steve Jobs philosophy of the product will sell itself. But they just created the infrastructure to actually conduct the bootcamps to show people how to use the product. So it's not a PowerPoint, not a pitch deck. It's actual customer data on actual operational workflows then being used to potentially convert into a pilot and then eventually a paying customer. So to me, Stanley Druckenmiller being back in Palantir, it is a big deal. We haven't seen him there over the course of the past couple of years because he's been making money in NVIDIA, which wasn't the right trade. I mean, to be honest, I know Palantir has done well from $8, but NVIDIA has been a no-brainer. And he bet the majority of the firm on Microsoft and NVIDIA back in the end of 2022. That's when things got really bad. And now he's taking profits and shifting it to companies. He's paying a premium for Palantir that he wouldn't have to pay if he stayed in at $8. But it seems like he feels a lot of momentum still exists with Palantir. Palantir's done 900 boot camps since they launched that strategy. And again, those boot camps have been product oriented to be able to, get people to care about the product, which is the Steve Jobs philosophy or the Apple philosophy of build the best product and consumers will care about it. And that's why Apple has become the company that they've become. Speaking of Apple, Apple's done phenomenally well. I mean, we talked about it a little bit in the market open today. 190 on Apple. Now they're up 1% year to date. They are not down anymore. They were lagging the S&P by a lot. Tesla is the only one of the Max 7. I believe that's down 30% year to date. Apple is now green. And one of the reasons they're green is because that $100 billion buyback plus the assumption that they will build a product that is so much better, so much more unique, so much more fantastic than any of the other AI products that exist in regards to the operating system being implemented onto the device itself via the ChatGPT collaboration that seems like it's going to happen. That's what's got investors excited. And if it's got those investors excited, they're willing to pay a little bit more of a premium for Apple. Now, Apple's PE is at 29. I still think that's a hefty premium to pay. Is Apple in a bull flag now and it's ready to break out and the money's just going to come flowing in? Probably, but still, it's one of those things you want to be a little careful about if you're getting ready to get super deep into Apple, because I mean, the easy money was at 167. Now at 190, you just have to ask yourself, is there a ton of juice left? And I think really it all depends on that iPhone. That iPhone's got to show that there's like actually momentum in order for it to have the upgrade cycle that everyone's looking for. If the upgrade cycle is not there, they're just gonna have to find different ways to grow because it might not come just from the iPhone alone. Okay, so there we go. We got Apple there. Oh wow, C3 AI is actually up. We haven't looked at this one in a long time. C3 AI. They are $26. I haven't looked at their ticker in a while. C3 at 26, Palantir 21. C3's market cap now about $3.2 billion. Palantir here, $48 billion market cap. Apple 189. AMC's up a little bit. S&P's here. GameStop still down. It's so interesting. Citron Research, if you're just joining, is back into shorting GameStop. And what's very interesting about the fact that they're shorting GameStop is that this is the same guy who shorted GameStop last time and lost. It seems like they did an interview with Benzinga. So this is what I'm looking at right here. They did an interview with Benzinga. I don't have the clip yet. I'll get the clip in a bit. And in this interview, it seems like he mentions, this is the guy right here, Andrew Leff, that they were officially short GameStop once again, which is very interesting, dude. It seems like he's coming for redemption and he lost a lot of money last time and he does not want to lose money this time. And he wants to actually redeem himself from the short. Now, GameStop puts are expensive. There is a premium on them, and the stock's down 30% in a couple of days. So there's those puts have gone up considerably. But one could imagine if you feel the momentum is done, then it's going to be hard to see if that continues. Now, Roaring Kitty has been tweeting all day. I'm looking at his Twitter right now. Again, more and more tweets he's putting out there. I'm looking at. Oh wow, he just tweeted. Oh boy, he tweeted the SEC. Look at this. Look at this one. He just tweeted for the SEC. Here you go.
That's the tweet we're talking about.
Yeah, and is this something that we should be tolerating in our markets? You know, whether it's legal or illegal, I don't think so.
I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
That's the tweet.
That's the famous 50-cent meme. What did he say F me for? So this guy is seeing everything that's happening, dude. It literally feels like the movie Catch Me If You Can. He's seeing everything that's happening. That's a clip that happened 2 days ago. So he's not just posting old movie clips from the 1980s. He's looking at content that's happening right now. He's looking at the world that we're living in right now, and he's interacting with it. The question just becomes, how deep is this guy really going to take this until things get relatively bad? Let's get to an interview right here by Perplexity CEO. This is a company that competes with Google. I know a lot of people in the chat have been keeping up with this company. They've been using this company every day. Google has released a lot of new search features. This company, I believe, is already a unicorn, or they're getting close to being valued as a unicorn. Here's what he has to say on where the future of search is going. We'll watch a little bit of this, and then we'll go from there.
4 male co-founders, and you've got 3 men on your advisory board. You are a man of color. I don't need you to preach to the converted. Where's the women? Where's the diversity?
Okay, I did not know when I clicked on this she was going to ask about diversity. But shit, let's just hear his response. But I thought they were going to talk about search, not diversity.
So one of our board directors, Kat Wilhelm from IVP, she's a woman. We also have another board observer, and Bordetsky from NEA.
Dude, look at him. He's like mumbling. He's like, well, we have some women around you. he's like, did I come here to talk about this or my product?
Who's also a woman. And Susan Wojcicki, former YouTube CEO, is an investor in us, and she's also very helpful in advice. So we have a lot of people from many different diverse backgrounds.
He's like, yeah, we have some women investors, so we're good. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe they started with this. All right.
It's helping us right now.
Okay, so 1 female board member, 1 observer, 1 investor that you name. That doesn't feel like a lot, but I get it. You feel that there's diversity enough. Many would quibble with that. But let's talk about what these 3 people bring from a...
I think in his head, he's like, I don't care about diversity. I care about beating Google right now. But he can't say that shit, because if he wants to beat Google, he's going to have to, keep his mouth shut here.
Or across the board, across experience, what is it that you need right now in terms of advice?
Yeah, so as a startup, we've been fortunate to scale up so much in such a short period of time. The next step for us is to really think hard about strategy.
Dude, also, as soon as she said you're a man of color, I would have been like, how do you know? I'd have been like, I was like, what do you mean man of color? Like, what color am I? I would have, like, this is where you have to use some of these ridiculous terms. And I'm sorry if anyone's offended by this, but I think a lot of this stuff is kind of insane. And just be like, really? So I'm a man of color. What color am I? Please tell me. Am I brown? Am I light brown? Like, what color do you think? Like this is, you got to throw this stuff back at people sometimes when they think they're smart by saying this stuff.
Strategy, both in terms of search, how to build our own index, and how to scale it up to even more users, and in terms of how our mobile and distribution strategy evolves, right? So search is all about distribution. They all say Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Google because he really cracked the distribution code through Chrome. So we are working with Emil, who is a former business officer of Uber, who is so aggressive on growth in terms of getting such a large user base. So we need to have similar ideas here. And in terms of mobile
Some would say it was too aggressive.
Yeah, we'll try to tone it down, sure. But look, startups have to be aggressive in terms of competing against incumbents who already have billion users, or OpenAI has 100 million users. We don't have that today. So we have to be, it's on us to do that. And it requires a good mobile strategy too, a great mobile experience. So Rich from Android would be very helpful there. And of course, the core thing is search, and no one better than Mikhail, who used to head Bing. He rolled out Bing Chat Copilot and was previously doing all the search infrastructure for Yandex. So he's going to advise us on building a lot of in-house infrastructure for us.
Aravind, thanks for coming back on the program. I've got to ask you about Google I/O and the real emphasis, frankly, that Google put on integration of AI into search. Specifically, it's like this idea of AI overviews, right? You know, you search for something, it gives you a text answer as opposed to links. A lot of people want to know what is Aravind Srinivas's reaction to what you saw out of Google I/O.
As the same reaction to what I saw last year when they called it search generative experience. It's just the exact same thing called as a different name. There's literally no change to it. And sure, it's being rolled out to more people, but it's not going to be rolled out for every single query you type on Google. And
I don't know if that's the best answer, dude. I think the Google generative AI answers are phenomenal. And I think right here, we're seeing a CEO who just got his product not killed by Google, but relatively disrupted badly. And Google has the distribution of billions of people. And he's trying to justify why Perplexity will be better. I don't know. I don't use Perplexity. It's a phenomenal product, but it's one of those things where if you're trying to go up against Google, man, I don't know. That search AI overview thing pretty much solves the majority of problems that I think Perplexity was trying to solve, at least in their product.
Important thing when someone uses a product is they should know what's going to happen. When people go to Google, they hate the latency being bad. They expect instant Kindle.
That's incorrect, at least as of I've been using it. The Google's been great. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, but the generative AI answers have been very good for me, and it's not been that bad at all.
Links to render. So the moment you start like making people wonder what's going to happen, whether that's going to be a streaming of tokens for an answer, or is this going to be links, or whether it's going to be ads, or whether it's going to be some other panels, and a UI that's so cluttered with all these elements at one place versus a single UI just focused for question answering. That's what like users are going to decide between Perplexity and Google AI overviews. And I think like users like simple, minimal, clean products. So we are pretty confident in our own direction.
Aravind, do you have any information or even just sense that this was Google responding directly to Perplexity?
Possible.
And possible, right? And how do you plan to respond yourself?
By being a better product, by actually working on categories of searches that they're definitely going to be not incentivized to. For example, shopping. If you still, like I'm on the SGE experiment already. And when I still type in shoes, I don't get any of the AI overviews. I just get all the Google shopping cluttered UI. So I still get ads. So there are like query categories, commercially intended query categories, insurance, travel, shopping, or like education, universities for different tuition programs, taxes, all these different categories where all these advertisers are screaming at you to click on them. There's just no incentive to like for them to put an AI overview for those queries and like lose their revenue share.
What's interesting though is you actually are built, in some ways you use Claude 3, you also use OpenAI's underlying large language model, and there's rumors that OpenAI are going to come out with some sort of search.
Right.
Would that worry you a little bit more?
Not really. Though their strategy is cleaner than what Google is doing, they're not actually just changing ChatGPT to put in search. They're building out a separate product. But by building out a separate product, they're competing for users from, in the same way as like Google rolling out Gemini or Bard. They're not actually taking advantage of the existing user base. And we are confident that like our existing work on using many models and many indexes and all the orchestration that we do will still keep us a superior product. But it's good competition. Like we're definitely going to watch what they're going to release and make sure we execute even faster than what we're doing.
So again, I think Perplexity is a phenomenal product. I don't think it's a bad product. I don't use it every day, but I think the people that use it are power users. I guess it's just a question of can they really, go up against what Google is doing, which is, generative AI and search overviews. The way Perplexity does it is not rolled out to all of their users, but it's going to happen eventually, right? I mean, I'm already using it. A lot of people are using Gemini. So once that does get rolled out, I guess the question is how strong is it in comparison to Perplexity? But Perplexity is very good. And I honestly can imagine Google buying them in the next couple of years if Perplexity really continues to scale in the way that they do. But I'm currently not a power user of them. Yeah, that man of color question was ridiculous, dude. If I'm ever on an interview and they said, well, you're a man of color, I would literally just respond like, what color am I? Like I would have fun with it. I'd be like, am I orange? Am I red? Because it's not that I'm trying to underscore the necessity or importance of diversity. It's the implication of how you frame that question in this context. So her argument is like, hey, You know, where's the diversity? And I think what he's worrying about is like, wait, why do you care so much about that when we're building a product that's about search engine optimization, making sure people have the right answers, the right tools? Like, what is the implication of diversity here in this question? If you're going to ask it for a quick soundbite and then go to ask me about what LLMs am I using, do you really give a shit about our diversity? Do you actually care? Do you do you know the percentage of women on our employee list, or are you just asking it for a sort of clickbait headline because you see that we don't have any women on our board of directors, you know? And if we did have women on our board of directors, do we need indigenous women? Do we need disabled women? Do we need black women? Do we need queer women? Like if we have a white woman like yourself, and the stereotype about white women that exists, which is that honestly they're a lot more racist than white men. Again, I don't believe that. That is the stereotype that is the stereotype that is out there. Then why would having a white woman on our board of directors be even productive for the company? It's just, you get into such rabbit holes with these questions, but they want to condense it to 45 seconds to get a headline. And if I was him, I wouldn't even respond. I would just be like, wait, so what color am I? You know, you said I'm a man of color. What color? Let me know. I'm curious because I think I'm a little bit of a beige. You know, like you gotta have fun sometimes with those questions. Chris says, Amit, is it true that Indians hate Indians the most? Yeah, 100%. Indians definitely hate Indians. That's Indians are definitely the most racist against Indians, dude. It's definitely true. Jay Schwab says, what does rolled out mean? Isn't it rolled out available? No, like generative AI Google search overviews are not rolled out to everybody. I doubt they're rolled out to like Indonesia or places the countries where like they're still figuring out how people are going to engage with it, that are still profitable for them on search ads. I don't think it's rolled out universally to like the 3-4 billion people that use Google. And even Sundar said that. He said they're rolling it out in cohorts. They're trying to make sure that when people say, hey, how do I make a chocolate cake? And we give them a really good experience versus like 17 different blue links, that experience is universalized across the world so that everyone wants to ask those types of questions on Google versus other products. But I think when that does roll out, it's not going to be the easiest for Perplexity to just grab users. Right now, like I'll go to Perplexity right here. So I just typed it in on Perplexity. It's a great product. I just typed, how do I bake a chocolate cake? And then boom, I got the answers. They're using a bunch of different LLMs. They're giving me all the sources. And then they have related questions. They have pictures. And it gives me the links right on top. It's a very good product to use. My question is, when Google does what Perplexity is doing right now for everybody, how easy is it for them to just use their product to continue to win? So Amit, are you saying Google isn't rolling out their products to nations of color? Dude, when I was in high school, I cared a lot more about the whole concept of diversity and all this stuff. As I've gotten older, I've realized all the people that care about it are full of shit. They don't actually care. Like, they just don't. There's like 0.01% of them that have something good in their heart that care. Most of them just care about headlines. They care about finding their own narcissistic desires to be implemented and embodied through the way they frame these types of practices or questions. And quite frankly, most corporations don't care either. They're just forced to care because they think that everyone cares about. This is why BlackRock shut down their ESG investing mandates that they had 2 years ago, because they woke up and realized, wait a second, if you own Bitcoin at 30,000 and Bitcoin's, $1 million a coin one day, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, gray, straight, whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter what color you are, you're going to have money. And this has been Brian Armstrong's key point. He was one of the first people in Silicon Valley to say, we're not talking about politics. We're talking about creating economic freedom via cryptocurrencies. You either believe in the mission, you don't believe in the movement. But if you do believe in that mission and you're singularly focused on that mission, it supersedes any type of racial or gender diversity, because money and class ultimately is the way for people to have any level of freedom in society. Like, if you have money, you have a better chance of achieving whatever you want in life versus if you don't. And so that was Brian Armstrong's mission. And Larry Fink, a couple of years later, is like, yeah, you're kind of right. We should probably just focus on getting people to make money versus on what color they are when they make their money. And so things have fundamentally changed, I think, over the past 2 years. In that, also, it doesn't help when the CEO of Black Lives Matter is buying a $3 million mansion in Los Angeles. Like, there's like, it's stuff like that. You see, it's like, these guys didn't really give a fuck. They get the money, and then the money corrupts them, and they go do what they have to do. Like, you don't need a $3 million house, right? That's like, but you might want a $3 million house. Oh, you do. Well, so that means you care more about yourself than the community. Oh, so individualism and like the sovereignty of the individual, which is what the United States is built upon. And that seems to supersede a lot of the other stuff. Not to say the other stuff isn't important, but that stuff is a fundamental value that we keep secure. China does not keep the sovereignty of the individual secure. Why? Alibaba CEO says one thing, Jack Ma, he disappears for a long time. Alibaba, by the way, up 7%. So that sovereignty of the individual, I think, is what a lot of the DEI movements have been trying to go against. And I think they're good intention, but a lot of their implementation isn't necessarily the best. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing right now with that question that he asked. Chris says the problem with Indian companies is that they are run by Indians. Yeah, that's true. The problem with Indian companies is that they're run by Indians. And again, I don't want to make it sound like, dude, that I don't care about diversity or I don't care about inclusion or equity or, that racism doesn't exist. That is not my point. That is not my point by even a stretch of the imagination. I've just realized as I get older, no one gives a shit in business. When it comes to business, when it comes to corporations, everyone wants to make their money. They don't care. And so when you see all the hypocrisy, this is why I love Alex Karp when he talks about this stuff, because he's like, look, I support Israel. I don't give a shit about trans lives, Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement. I don't care about that stuff. Amazon and Google will tell you they care about that stuff, but they don't care about that stuff. They're just saying it not to lose money. When it comes to Israel, which in private, that's the stuff they do care about, they're not actually going to speak up on that stuff because they're afraid of what people think. And so that's one of the reasons I've always respected Karp is he's just like, look, this is what actually matters, not what, people say that matters, and you either love it or hate it, but this is how I think of the world at the end of the day. And I kind of take that same belief as well. Okay, cool. So what else do we have right here? We have Alibaba up 7%, Bitcoin 65,000, Apple 189 right now, GameStop down 2%. I was talking with someone today on the phone, and we're gonna have to figure out how to navigate. I was talking with Steve the other day. We are definitely going to be streaming the Biden-Trump debates on this channel. So Biden announced today that he's officially coming back and he's ready to debate. I'm actually going to get that video right here. And we're just going to have to make sure that we do it in an apolitical way, because I don't want to be Team Biden. I don't want to be Team Trump. It's not a political channel, but we got to stream the debates, dude. It's going to be like, it's must-watch TV. We got to stream this on the channel. I think it'll be fun to have everyone watch it together. And so we're going to have to figure out how to make sure we cover it in an apolitical way, because, it can get very political. But here's Biden on the debates.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays. Donald Trump lost 2 debates.
So Biden's ready to debate. And a lot of people thought he wasn't going to debate, but he's ready to debate. And I can't wait for this shit because, dude, Biden versus Trump, this is going to be the best shit ever. It's going to be so much fun seeing them go at it. And I'm going to cover it. I'm going to learn how to cover it. I'm going to learn how to be apolitical. I think I'm pretty apolitical on this channel. I don't think I'm overly one way or the other. And I think whenever I do express an opinion, I try to back it up by facts and give the bull case of the other opinion, kind of like analyzing stocks. But it'll be fun to analyze what's going on. Have chat disabled. No, we can't disable the chat. The chat's going to be the most fun part. Does anyone know what the Wednesdays thing was about? I have no idea why he said, I hear you're free on Wednesdays. I have no idea. I don't know if that's alluding to like his court cases or something, and he's making a joke on that. But if anyone knows what he's talking about the Wednesday thing, let me know. Amit, are you going to wear your MAGA hat? Dude, I'm really not Republican or Democrat. Like, I'm actually not. I am not a Trumper. I'm not a huge fan of Biden. I tend to say I'm in the middle, and I know there's a cop-out answer, but it really is true. There's a lot of stuff with Trump I just don't agree on. There's a lot of stuff with Biden I really don't agree with on. So it's like from both perspectives, I don't pick one or the other, which is why I think I'll be able to hopefully analyze it the good way. Oh, usually no court on Wednesdays. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Or it's about golf Wednesdays? Interesting. You align more with Republicans? I wouldn't say I align more with Republicans. I would say when I was younger, oh, by the way, Bernie Sanders has a podcast. So I align, when I was younger, I aligned fully with Bernie Sanders. I mean, I was a Bernie Sanders guy. And then I started a business. And then I was like, oh, wait a second. I need to make money. It's very like here, let's play this one clip. From AOC. She did a podcast with Bernie Sanders. It's a 1-minute clip. I want to know what you guys think about this clip. Just get your perspective, how you think of what she's saying and what's your thought from there. So as I got older, the point I'm trying to make is I became, you could argue, more conservative because I realized like, hey, I don't want the government, always in my life. But when I was younger, I thought the government should always be in your life. They should take all your money. And that's not the case anymore. That's not the case anymore. All right, so here's AOC on Bernie's podcasts. I actually saw this morning. It popped up on YouTube, and I was like, wow, I didn't know they did a podcast. Here's a minute. Let me know what you guys think of what she says after a minute. Can you kind of agree with her, or do you think she's totally wrong here?
People are choosing between medicine and rent is barbarism. The fact that people are worried about whether they will be on the street every 4 weeks is barbarism. The fact that every time a person has an ache or a pain in their body and they're scared that it could either be just a sore joint or cancer, but they can't find out because they can't afford the doctor, this is barbarism. Right. And if we do not demand, and not only demand, but win unions, healthcare, wages, ending endless war, then we will condemn ourselves to barbarism. And I refuse to give up. I refuse to submit myself to that future.
So I'm not going to give my comments on that, but I'll see what you guys think in the chat. I mean, this is the type of, by the way, Biden is going to say the same type of stuff, right? The same type of analogy she made about you have to choose between this and that. Those are going to be the same arguments that are going to come from Biden. Trump's going to have his own spin on those arguments as well, and they're going to go at each other. And so we're going to be having to analyze this over the coming weeks. I think June 27th is the first debate as this debate plays out. AOC is an interesting one. AOC is a very interesting one. And the reason she's interesting is because, you know, she's gone to the Met Gala. She's, I think at this point, a multimillionaire. She's built a whole brand off of what she's been able to do in Congress. And so, you know, she has her own political motives. She has her own ideals. But there is a subset of people in America that vote for her because they believe she embodies their ideals. And so that's the good thing about America. You got different people representing different interests. The question becomes which of those interests end up winning at the end of the day. Harmsy says, well, I'm from the UK and I wouldn't give up my wonderful NHS. Well, see, here's another thing. This is why I like having a global audience here, because people from the UK might not agree with AOC on everything economically, but if they do agree with the healthcare that they get, then they kind of do agree with her on some of the points she's making about how we think about healthcare in the United States with private insurance and social systems. And so there's a lot of nuance to this is the point I'm trying to make. And it's not black or white. And I don't want the channel ever to become black or white, because that's where you just, you know, that's where you lose a lot of objectivity, and it just becomes stupid at that point. Like, you really have to have nuances when you're going in, but you can say the nuance of asking someone, oh, so you're a man of color. You can point out the nuances of why that's kind of dumb, even though diversity matters, while also realizing what AOC is saying might not make sense in the context of free market capitalism and healthcare in the United States, but the social values of what other people like those in the UK are subjected to can reflect some logical things that she's talking about as well, even if the implementations of them are not as logical. Jed says, how has she lasted this long? NYC has gone down the toilet since she's been elected. Yeah, NYC has not been the best. I agree with that. But look, people agree with her. Just like Trump, people are gonna, you know, some people are gonna want Trump back. Some people are gonna want AOC. And I'm curious. All right, so we'll end the stream on this. Who do you think's winning this election? We'll end the stream there. Who do you think is winning this election? Who do you think? Trump or Biden? Which one? Which one do you think is actually going to win? Not who you want to win. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win? Not America. That's a good answer. Not America. Well, who do you guys think will actually win? Because we're going to cover the election on this channel, dude. We got to cover the election. First of all, the election is intertwined with the election is intertwined with the stock market. Like, there's no way we can talk about the markets without talking about who gets elected. So, Trump's tax policy is going to affect all of our stocks, along with Biden, right? So it's something we got to cover. I just want to make sure we cover it in a nuanced way and not just one side or the other. Palantir. We're going to go deeper onto who's better for Palantir, Trump or Biden. I think there's arguments for both sides, actually, for who's better. Bitcoin. I know some people are saying no one's going to win, America's going to lose, but if you had to guess, who do you think's actually going to win this thing? Like, who will be the president of the United States? You want to do a poll? Okay, let's see. We're about to see how MAGA the audience is, or how how Biden the audience is. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Trump or Biden? Who wins? Who wins? GameStop? Dude, Andrew is really shorting them again. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. And again, dude, we can't let go of politics. Like, if we're going to cover the markets, you have to talk about politics to an extent. And the people who get pissed off, whatever. I'm going to do my best to make sure I stay as objective and nuanced as possible. By the way, the people who aren't objective around politics, a lot of times I feel there's a level of narcissism because politics changes nothing in regards to how you speak about it. Like the Ben Shapiro's of the world, the Young Turks of the world, it's all entertainment to me. At the end of the day, they have their beliefs and they just want to propagandize their beliefs. I don't give a shit if you guys believe in what I believe in politically. Like, I really don't care. I care about the stock market. I care about analyzing what's happening, and politics intertwines with the stock market, which then influences how we speak about it. But it's not my primary motive. So when I talk about politics, just don't ever assume I have an agenda, because I don't give a shit, dude. I don't care who you vote for. Like, I really don't care. You know, I'm not in high school where I'm like, oh my God, if you vote for Trump, you're bad. If you vote for Biden, you're bad. Like, I don't care. So for me, it's just about covering it on the channel and providing value. It's not about enforcing my beliefs, because I just don't give a shit. Trump, 74%. All right. So the majority of the channel believes Trump will be elected. Dude, this is going to be a crazy cycle. In November, this is happening. November, this is happening, dude. November. This is like 6 months away, right? We're getting close to this shit. This is not, the debates are being soon, then the Republican National Convention is soon, and then it's going to happen. One last look at equities. S&P 528 right now. Robinhood falling after hours with GameStop and AMC, so that one's taking a dump. 1790. Palantir 2165. GameStop down another 5%. AMC is down another 1.3%. Alibaba up 7%. Bitcoin 65,000. And then again, S&P at 528. All right, folks, let's see. Also, Trump has the court cases, so he has to deal with that. He has to navigate that. Biden, I think, has to navigate with just his age and some people feeling like he's not fit yet to be the president. I mean, there's so many things on both sides that they're going to have to figure out. And we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Daily Palantir episode coming out in a couple of hours. We'll be discussing Stanley Druckenmiller back into Palantir. So we'll do a deep dive on that, and we'll keep going from there. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you joining every single day on the market close. It really, really, really means a lot to me. And on the market open, it's super, super fun every single day to do this. And the market close has been growing every day along with the market open. Tomorrow's Friday as well. Wow, we're literally here on Friday. Oh, also we have Finance Junkies tonight at 9 p.m. We have Finance Junkies tonight. So we'll be live. We'll be live at 9 p.m. Yo, these comments are crazy, dude. When this debate thing starts, when it's political season, oh man, this chat's gonna be insane. This chat is literally gonna be insane. Lecky says, admit you have mostly Trump supporters on your channel. It's not just my channel, it's the finance community. Most people tend to be a bit more conservative. And I didn't get it until I joined the finance community. And then I realized, like, yeah, I don't want unrealized capital gains. I don't like, who's advocating for like basic common sense? Oh, the Republicans? Well, and that's not to say I am a Republican, because there's a lot of shit like on social shit, there's a lot of shit with the Republicans I just don't agree with on, bro. Like a lot of the shit, some of these conservative Supreme Court justices, I just don't agree with it. But on some of the financial shit, I'm like, so it's just how it is in the finance world. A lot more people tend to be conservative. All right, let's see. Election coverage 2024 with a mitt over the next coming months. We'll get into that, and then we'll do this debate coverage in the coming weeks. John says, Amit, I think you're actually very fair balanced. Some things are very political, but most things are just common sense. Yeah, I agree. And again, the one thing I want people to understand is I have zero incentive, zero agenda. I'm not getting paid by anybody. I don't care about forcing my political beliefs. I'm not trying to build a political brand to the world. I'm trying to build a finance brand, and a finance brand understands the world of politics and how it implicates with the markets. But ultimately, you got to understand the stock market. And I've got a lot to learn when it comes to the stock market, and less to impose with my own political beliefs. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. See you guys tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. on the market open. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. Good night.